Good morning. Good morning. I am so excited. It is Sunday. It is raining, but it's still Sunday, to me, the National Day of Worship. Um, and it's also Pentecost Sunday for my fellowship. So we're excited about going to service today and learning more about the Holy Spirit and its indwelling. But I'm jumping on right now to close out our book club for Happy Wives Club by Fawn Weaver. First of all, can I just say all of y'all are raggedy because nobody sent me a reminder yesterday to jump on. I know. I scheduled to jump on at 10 a.m. yesterday. But as I'm sure most of you can contest, the weekends are when we kind of finish up everything that didn't get done during the week. And sometimes time gets away from us. And I actually did not remember that I was supposed to jump on until late that afternoon when I was on the road to another event. Um, your girl has got to get another planner just so I can have multiple things there for me to keep track of. But anyways, so I just want to jump on really, really quick. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Happy Wives Club and we're going to close out. So I'm just going to share a couple of things that I thought, as you can see, I took copious notes and plugged so many different places. I found this book to be so refreshing and engaging. One, because it wasn't written like a tutorial and it didn't tell us what to do, but it gave us some great insight into those marriages that have lasted 25 years or more. And what I loved about Fawn is that she allowed them to be as organic and transparent as they wanted to be. And what I appreciated is that it changed the narrative on what marriage can be. So often for young married couples, especially those who live by faith, we're told, girl, it's going to be a ton of work. It's going to be hard. Marriage can be, you know, one of the best but also worst decisions of your life because you're giving yourself away, that kind of thing, right? But what I have come to find and what I tell everyone is marriage is so special and it is what you make it. So what you invest in your marriage is what you're going to receive. And I believe that Fawn really exemplified that in all the stories that she shared in this book. I wanted to share one of my favorite quotes with you, and it's on page 65. And it says, yes, you give, you get. The key is not in what you receive. The key to marriage is what you give. So if you come in with this positive mindset and this positive mentality to do your best and give your best at all times, that is what you're going to receive, because we're not going to change our husbands. We're going to support our husbands. We're going to help our husbands grow. And we're going to do that by being a living example for them, loving and nurturing and following through with what we're saying, right? We're going to be the woman that they believed that they married, but we're also going to be ourselves because we're all in transition. We're all in evolution. But doing that and giving each other grace, the same grace that you want to receive from someone, you're giving to them. So that's the key to marriage, is what you're giving. It's not necessarily what you're getting, because in the end, we answer for ourselves. I also apologize if there is a shadow in here. It is raining here in Gainesville. I have turned on all the lights in my office, including my desk lamp, to make sure that I don't look dark on here. But yeah, I can't promise if that's happening, so I do apologize. But anyways, one of the things I wanted to share also that I got from this group is the accountability. I think that what I appreciated is knowing that as I was reading this book, there were other women, 22 other women that were reading this. And even if we weren't necessarily dialoguing or engaging, there was somebody else who was reading this and getting some of these same nuggets. And so my hope is that as we go out into our own circles of influence, into our own communities, into our own churches, into our own jobs, that we take some of this and that together we're changing the narrative and the landscape of young marriages and even older marriages, because any marriage can be saved. Because that's the whole point of A Few Good Thoughts, right? Is that we're becoming active disciples by starting with good thoughts, good processes, good habits. And so I hope that as you've read this book, you've gained some tools that you can take into your own space and begin to change the conversations and begin to remind people that we're not going to talk negatively about marriage, not going to talk negatively about our spouses. We're going to talk about ways to upbuild marriage and ways to support our spouses in their growth. It's all about how you word things and it's all about how you process things, but it's really, really about how you act on that. It's how you act, because our attitude will change the atmosphere. So if you come in with the idea that I am a happy wife and I do have a positive marriage and I can have a loving relationship, that is what you'll have, because that is what you'll work towards. But if you come in with my marriage is it's all right, and I'm not necessarily a happy wife, but I'm a make do wife, and I have a friendly marriage, not necessarily a loving marriage, that's what you'll have. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So you decide today what the dynamic of your marriage is going to be moving forward. So whatever you invest, know that's what you're going to get back. What have you done? What have you practiced? What have you preached? What have you put forth effort in? Are you putting forth effort into just your children and keeping your household managed? Or are you putting effort into managing your relationship and investing time? Are you having active quality time with your spouse? And I'm not saying that you always have to go on expensive dates or do all these fancy things or trips, but are you daily sitting down with them and making sure that you're connecting with them, even if it's right before you go to bed? One of the things that Rob has been really good about with our marriage is we have like a weekly check-in. A lot of times we check in a lot more than that because we talk multiple times during the day. We've been doing that since we were dating. We talk on chat and text and phone and stuff like that. But we try to make sure that weekly, at least, we have a set aside time to check in and see how we're doing, where we're both at, how we're feeling about the other's responses, how we're feeling about the other person's actions, how we feel that we've improved. What's our goals coming up? We're constantly having goal planning sessions. We're constantly checking in and making sure that we're connected to each other. Because even though we have two amazing boys and we have a home that we have to take care of, and we're both really involved in ministry, and we both work full time, we have to understand that the basis of everything is not only our relationship to God, but our proper stewardship of our marriage, because your marriage is your first and greatest ministry. It is more important than your children. It is more important than your household. It is more important than your job. The church actually is a great example of how your marriage is supposed to go. The church is the bride and Christ is the groom, right? So that tells you how important marriage is if that is the analogy that you see throughout the Bible. So you have to take that time to get serious about your marriage and get serious about the productivity of your marriage. And you add directly to that from your thoughts, your actions, your words, the people that you surround yourself with. That is so important. Something that you will see all throughout this book, and that I'm sure that you all caught on to, was this mutual respect, but also meaning that the communities that you surround yourself with, your friends, your family, those people have to be willing to invest too, and not allowing those negative voices and those naysayers to have any type of influence over the nucleus of your marriage. So many of these relationships, they said, our friends have either the same mentality we have, or we're not friends. We're not friends. We're not chilling and hanging with people that are downing their marriage or downing their spouse, or people that have negative things to say about marriage in general or marriage God's way. We are surrounded by people that have the same mindset and the pursuit of godly and faithful marriages. So that's something that I'm going to challenge you to do. Look into your circle. See who's in it. Are these people as invested as you are? Are they looking to have the same type of output in the ministry and the discipleship of their marriage? Because remember, everything that we do is a discipleship moment. Everything. Even if you're not going out and say Jesus is good, he loves you, you got to get saved, you got to, like, that's not necessarily it. It's how you live. It's how you're interacting with people. It's how you're treating your husband. It's how you're loving your husband. It's how you are protecting your marriage. Those things say so much more about us than anything that we can just make up and sound good about, you know? So be invested. I think that what I loved about Fawn's journey is that she committed to the process. And then when she realized, I need to be home with my husband, she went home to her husband. So even though she was gathering all of this amazing information for women like us, and I know that there are some men that have read this book, that's great. But she realized at some point, I have to plug back into my household, into my husband, and make sure that we're good and I'm maintaining that role first. And I love that she did not hesitate to do that. That took precedence over everything else, over a book contract, over research, over anything. She realized that it was important to be the woman that she was talking about. And that was one who was committed, who was invested, and who was serious about providing for and being present in her marriage. Um, what did she also? I think she talked about this thing that she and her husband do. They rate each other 1 to 10. I think that was something that they did. Oh, well, I can't find that right now, but I think that is one of the things. But one of the things that I liked is says great marriages are made when husbands and wives don't allow cultural expectations to dictate their life decisions or their day-to-day interactions. A one-of-a-kind value system is forged, blending from two people who honor, cherish, and respect each other, and who are willing to make personal sacrifices, even of their dreams, choices, and drives for the other. Nurturing your marriage and supporting your spouse is critical. Nurturing your marriage and supporting your spouse is critical. This is exactly what I was talking about, is understanding that your marriage is your marriage and that you have to protect it at all costs. And that even means who you surround yourself with, what you put your time into, the activities that you do. Your marriage is one of a kind, and it requires your one of a kind unique attention, right? Because you all determine the trajectory of your marriage. So you all have to be invested in that. I think that it's super important to understand that what worked for your mom may not work for you, work for your grandma, your auntie, and them, that may not work for you. But they do have some good tips and good tools, because what I love about the old school marriages is that they gave for each other. They gave, y'all. Like, you would not see a couple that didn't go harder for their spouse. And now it's so um, typical to hear, especially those of us who are young, well, we didn't like each other anymore, so we decided we're just going to separate. Or we fell out of love, or he wasn't doing what I thought he was going to do in marriage. I challenge you to cover those marriages and to pray for those people and their mindsets, to understand that marriage is so much more than love. Marriage is so much more than being friends. Marriage is a lifelong partnership and a grace giving mechanism. Because guess what, y'all? We're not perfect either. We're not perfect either. And just as much as we can become disillusioned with some of the things that our spouses do, imagine how they must feel if we're not always perfect and we're not always doing those things that we did when we were dating. So give the grace that you want to receive and put in the work that your marriage is worth. You've got to put in the work that your marriage is worth. And this is not saying that you're going to be tired all the time and that marriage is an issue and it's a mountain that you have to go through. It's saying that your marriage is worth the effort of maintaining, because it's just like a garden. A garden is beautiful. It's beautiful, but you have to put in work to make sure that it survives. You have to weed, you have to prune, you have to water, you have to seed the ground, till the ground, all of those things. And so to have a beautiful product, you have to put in some labor. And you know what? Nothing is as sweet as something that you've worked hard towards, right? If it's just given to you, it's easy. You can take it for advantage. But if you've worked for that thing, yeah, it matters. It means something to you. So I hope that you have enjoyed this book as much as I have. I appreciate you all giving me so much grace. I missed the talk yesterday, and then the talk that I was supposed to have on June 1st with Michelle Dix. Her daughter was moving, who's also my sister, so we actually had to help them pack up, get on the road. So that happened. But that's also the point of this club, right? It's moms and wives supporting each other and understanding that things are fluid. Schedules change. Things have to be adjusted. The same thing with the chat with Edwina. Edwina and I still plan on getting on at some point, so that'll be a surprise. So just be on the lookout for that. We are officially done, though, with the book club and with the book. So if you want to add more thoughts, feel free to do that. But as far as the actual study of it, we have come to the end of that. But Edwina and I will jump on in the coming weeks and have a chat with you, because I think that it is important to have it. And I think that you'll enjoy Edwina as much as I do. She is a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But I hope that you have a wonderful Sunday and that your weekend has been fruitful thus far. And I'm praying blessings over you as you go into this next season and this next chapter of embracing and enjoying your marriage. Guys, this is some of the best years of our lives. Let's not waste it. Let's not waste it. I'm hopeful that in the future we can actually get together. I only had 3 people RSVP for the get together yesterday. That's why I decided to do the live chat instead. So I'm hopeful that in the future all of our schedules will align and we're able to get together, all 20 of us, 22 of us actually, and get together and meet and hug each other's necks and hear each other's perspectives. But until then, thank you. Thank you for spending these weeks with me. Thank you for reading this book with me. And thank you for covering the marriages in this group, because that's what I hope you've been doing. That you guys have been praying for everyone who is reading this book in this group, and that you have been praying for your own household and its growth. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. God bless you. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Bye.